Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is Real Big Ten Football Talk Plus One with Chris. I am Chris, and as you can hear by my voice, I am also sick. Don't worry, I don't think I have COVID or anything like that, but let us get started. Showdown of Unbeatens in the East, number 9, Indiana. Yes, this is 2020, boys and girls. Anything can happen, including a number 9 Indiana Hoosier squad just raring to go at number 3 Ohio State. Yes, this is in Columbus. This will be a noon game, which is kind of odd in my opinion for a top 10 matchup, but I think when they did the scheduling earlier in the year, no one expected Indiana to be number 9. I know I didn't, and I'm sure you didn't as well. But let's get right into it, shall we? Food for thought. Ohio State has not lost to Indiana in over 30 years. I am 33, so this includes almost the entire span of my lifetime. There was a tie in 1990. I was 3. I don't remember it. It was 27-27. We go back further than that. Back to 1988, Indiana demolished Ohio State, but it was in Bloomington, 41-7. I was 1. And in the year of my birth, Indiana last beat Ohio State in Columbus, 31-10. It was a very long time ago, folks, especially in this show me now type of day and age we live in. That was an eternity ago, 1987. So, Indiana has played Ohio State tough in the first half. We will look at that here in the last 5 meetings, although last year, Ohio State was never really in question, but the 4 matchups prior to that, it was quite a matter of, boy, this Indiana team's looking pretty good at the half. So, we'll look at that. But, again, Indiana has never had much fight following the half, especially against Ohio State. Although, I know I mentioned that. I don't think I did a video on it, but I at least thought about it when Indiana played Penn State. Well, they'll play them tough. Then they'll fall apart in the second half. That did not happen. It did not happen against Michigan. It did not happen against Michigan State. Indiana has played a complete 4-quarter football this year. That's what makes them so scary, and that's why Ohio State should definitely be respecting them. So, whom have these two teams played so far? We'll look at Indiana first. Indiana, as I said, did beat Penn State, number 8 at the time. Indiana can't help that they've fallen off the cart, or the wagon, so to speak, since then, but they did beat them 36-35 in Bloomington. Did beat Rutgers in Piscataway 37-21. They give up 21 points to Rutgers. I'm making that yellow. Michigan, that is the highlight video we will watch for this Indiana team. That Michigan game was huge for this program and very, very bad for Jim Harbaugh, which we talked about in the recap video to the Michigan-Wisconsin game. And actually, we looked at in the preview to Michigan-Wisconsin. If you'd like to take a look at that, I will try to make sure that that card is up in that spot in the frame. But they did beat Michigan 38-21, did these Hoosiers bunch, and then they followed up with a demolishing performance in East Lansing, 24-0 to the Michigan State Spartans. A reeling Spartans team, but a Spartans team that beat Michigan themselves. So, take that as you will. Then we'll look at Ohio State. Ohio State started out the year very strong. 52-17 over Nebraska in Columbus. Did follow that up with a very dominant performance in Happy Valley. 38-25 over the, at that time, ranked 18 Penn State Nittany Lions. Ohio State did beat Rutgers 49-27 in Columbus, but again, gave up 27 points to the Rutgers. Not very impressive to me. A win's a win. Won by more than 3 scores. Actually, yeah, more than 3 scores, I should say. So, I'm not going to give them a red, but that's definitely cause for concern in my mind if you're giving up 27 points to the Rutgers at home. And of course, last weekend I make this in red because that is a game taken from the Buckeyes in order to allow them to get more battle tested. That would have been another team that has a winning record in Maryland, but of course that was canceled due to the pandemic. Sad for both teams, especially Maryland, because I saw they also have their next game canceled as well. So that's very sad for the Terps. I hope they're okay. I hope everybody recovers 100%, but this is a very tough year for all of us, as we already know. So let's look at Indiana's game first against Michigan. Indiana looked very strong here, especially this first play here that we're going to look at. An excellent flat route to, it looks like, his running back for a good gain, first down to Indiana. Later in the drive, at Michigan's 13 it looks like, and just it was a woodshed, really. That was good coverage by Michigan, but that was a good catch, and it was a good throw to get over the defender's head. Now, Indiana had some struggles. That was a good pitch and catch by Michigan. It was a good catch because it was not a good throw. Pretty good coverage, but there's a miscue by Michigan that Indiana took advantage of. Free play, offsides, touchdown to Indiana. Second and goal, throw to the right, touchdown. Michigan again, they had their time, they had their moments. That was a good job by Milton to get the ball out there to his wideout for a big gain, first down Michigan on Indiana's 13. Milton definitely threw a good pass to, it looks like, his tight end in the middle of the end zone, touchdown Michigan. But this is where the wheels started to fall off for Michigan, and that's where Indiana really did well, was mixing up their plays, running and throwing. Another good pass by Michigan, but we will soon find out, too little too late. Here's an excellent pass to an Indiana defender. Don't know what he was throwing at, but here's Indiana putting the nail in the coffin. Touchdown Indiana. The game was no longer in question. Milton tried. Did all he could, but that was too low, too late. Got hit on the throw, and it was an interception. Well-played game by Indiana, honestly. I mean, it was both sides of the ball. Indiana did very well. Did give up some plays, though, and that could be trouble for them against Ohio State, where Ohio State doesn't make the miscues that Michigan made in that game. Ohio State doesn't have many pre-snap penalties that gives Indiana free plays. Ohio State doesn't turn the ball over very much to give Indiana short field. Indiana's going to have to try. Indiana's going to have to play their best football to have a chance against a very hot, very, very high-powered Ohio State team. Excuse me. So let's look at the tail of the tape from this game here. Let's look and see how dominant Indiana truly was on paper. 13th ranked out Indiana at the time, 23rd ranked Michigan at the time. Indiana gave up 17 first downs to Michigan. Not great, not bad. But where I really, really liked what Indiana did was right here. Third down efficiency. They gave up 27.2% third down conversions to Michigan. 3 of 11 Michigan was on third down. Indiana only gave up 13 rushing yards. And it wasn't like Michigan only ran the ball a few times. 18 attempts Michigan tried on the ground for 13 yards. I should have calculated the average yards per rush, but you can see it's negative. Now, Indiana did give up 344 passing yards. As we saw on the clip, Michigan did get quite a few good chunk plays through the air. Again, Indiana needs to watch that because Ohio State can do that too, in bunches. Michigan's quarterbacks was 18 of 34 passing, threw 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. We saw both picks in the clip. Indiana only gave up 357 yards of total offense. Very impressive. Anytime you can give up less than 400 yards, you're doing something right. Michigan also committed 8 penalties for 89 yards. Definitely boded well for Indiana. Indiana forced 2 turnovers and won the time of possession, whereas Michigan held the ball for 21 minutes and 10 seconds. Indiana held the ball for 38 minutes and 50 seconds. I look at this quite a lot unless you're playing against 2 teams that have high-powered, high-tempo offenses, then that doesn't matter as much, which Ohio State has. Ohio State may not win the time of possession battle in this game, but could still win despite that. Now, what did Indiana do on offense? Indiana got 28 first downs. 28 first downs. 9 of 18 on third down. 50% third down efficiency. Very impressive. Only 118 yards on the ground, so that's a little bit sketchy in my mind, especially since Michigan's defensive front is not Ohio State's front. Ohio State's front is quite better. Indiana did get 342 yards through the air. As we did see Indiana also does a fair job at chunk plays through the air, but a lot of theirs is short at first, and then it progresses as, in that clip, Michigan didn't have much resistance as far as secondary once Indiana completed a pass. 30 of 50 passing was Indiana's quarterbacks, which wasn't real impressive. Over 50, that's fine. Not great, fine. Did throw 3 touchdowns and 0 picks. Very good, very impressive. 460 yards of total offense. Not bad considering it's still a Don Brown coached defense. So you have to give Indiana some credit just from that perspective. Indiana did commit 4 penalties for 50 yards. Not great, but not horrible. Indiana committed 0 turnovers, and we already talked about Indiana did win the time of possession battle, 38 minutes and 50 seconds to 21 minutes and 10 seconds. Quite impressive considering neither of these teams are high-tempo, high-powered. So Indiana just demoralized Michigan as far as holding onto the ball just that much longer. Now we'll look at Ohio State's marquee win, and we'll look at Ohio State's win against Penn State. And it was never really a game in question, really. I watched that game. You look at plays like this, that could happen to any team, I know, but, Penn State, you had a chance to tackle him, but it took, 4 guys to bring him down finally. Second one, touchdown, Ohio State. And from there, as soon as Ohio State was rolling, Penn State got some plays here and there, but Ohio State just destroyed this team, really, in Happy Valley. Sad to say, there wasn't really any fans there, of course, because of the pandemic. Really does sadden me for these programs that are used to all these fans there. Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, and even Indiana. But they can't show up because of the pandemic. It's very sad to me. Another great big play by Ohio State, and that's where Ohio State gets you. Chunk plays, but they also get good, solid plays on the ground to churn out those big yards and convert on those third and longs, second longs, and all that. But again, Penn State did have some good plays here and there, and this next play is a very impressive catch. I don't know how the kid made that catch. Backhanded catch with one hand for a touchdown. He deserved that. Penn State played well, but they just couldn't play well enough. And I think really after this game is where Penn State just kind of lost that fight, that will to win. And it showed it's shown, I think, throughout the year now. I believe they're 1-3 right now, if I'm not mistaken. And there was a pick. That was really the end of the game, honestly, for Penn State. I don't think Ohio State scored after that, but I can't remember. Either way, the Ohio State controlled this game. They controlled the tempo. They controlled pretty much every aspect of this game. Again, Penn State played hard, played tough, but the outcome was never in question here. Let's look at the tail of the tape. Of course, Ohio State was the road team, so we'll look at what they did first. 24 first downs for the Buckeyes. 55.5% third down efficiency. 10 of 18. That's sheer dominance. 208 yards on the ground. 318 through the air. 28 of 34 passing. 4 touchdowns. 0 picks for Justin Fields. Tell me that wasn't a Heisman-worthy performance. And I don't even do that on this show, but that was a Heisman-worthy performance in my mind. But Ohio State did commit 9 penalties for 80 yards. That was a big blemish for them in my mind. But that's a big blemish. If they commit those kind of penalties against Indiana, they could get beat against an opportunistic team such as the Hoosiers. 0 turnovers, and definitely won the time possession battle. 37 minutes and 1 second to Penn State's 22 minutes and 59 seconds. Now, what did Ohio State do against Penn State? Penn State did get 20 first downs. It's a red mark against Ohio State's defense. But did only allow 33.3% third down conversions to Penn State. 3 of 9, to be exact, on third down for the Nittany Lions. Ohio State only gave up 44 yards on the ground. Very impressive. 281 yards through the air, though, and we saw quite a few of those yards in that clip. 18 of 30 passing was Penn State's quarterbacks, 3 touchdowns to 1 pick thrown. That was the 1 turnover Ohio State forced. But Ohio State only gave up 325 yards of total offense. Very impressive. Penn State did commit 5 penalties for 31 yards. So what that tells me is Ohio State just beat Penn State. They didn't allow Penn State to beat themselves. Ohio State beat Penn State. That's impressive. What do I mean by that? You can win by a team beating themselves through penalties, turnovers, miscues, what have you. Didn't really have a whole lot of that in this game. Like I said, Ohio State only forced 1 turnover. Because Ohio State just dominated this team from start to finish, and it was never really close. This final score, 13-point margin. It was the disparity between these two teams was bigger than 13 points. But I've talked too much, I'm sure. Let us move on. Now the last 5 between Ohio State and Indiana. Again, last year at the half, it wasn't really a question here. I mean, Ohio State won that game 51-10 in Bloomington. Ohio State was rolling 30-10 at the half. It was never really a question. But 2018 was a different story. Yes, Ohio State did beat Indiana by 23 points, an impressive victory in Columbus, 49-26. But look at the half. Ohio State was only up 28-20. But they only give up 6 points in the second half, as you can see there. 2017, a lot of the same. Ohio State beat Indiana 49-21. But, look at this. IU was up 14-13 at the half. Now Ohio State came out and scored 36 points in the second half to Indiana's 7. But still, this adds substance to my argument earlier in the show. Indiana plays tough against Ohio State by and large in the first half, but falls apart in the second half. 2016, a lot of the same. Ohio State won 38-17. But it was only up, I guess that was kind of a bigger margin, but still, that's not what Ohio State wasn't running away from the game yet then. Yeah, did it look like it was not really in question? Yeah, but it was only 2 scores. And then 2015, it was a close game from start to finish. That was the last time Indiana really played Ohio State tough from start to finish, and Ohio State won 34-27. And that was IU was up 10-6 at the half. I remember that game. That was a head scratcher game. I couldn't figure it out either. So, okay, Indiana wins if. Okay, well, I meant for it to be a different order, but I had to move some stuff around. So we'll look at Ohio State first. Ohio State wins if they stay focused and doesn't make mistakes to allow Indiana to hang around, especially late, like bad pre-snap penalties, for example, a turnover, a miscue, a 3-and-out, anything that could allow Indiana to get shorter field, especially late in the game when the outcome may not be out of hand like it usually is with these two teams in Ohio State's favor. Ohio State needs to control the tempo of the game on offense. Keep going, quick, like they do most of the games this year so far. Need to control the tempo of the game. Force quick 3-and-outs on defense. Convert on those 3rd and longs. The rare times that Ohio State is put into 3rd and longs, they need to convert a lot of those in order to progress the game and control the tempo and the time of possession, while trying to stay out of 3rd and longs when possible. Of course, that's obvious for any team. You don't want to be in consistent 3rd and longs. You need to keep penalties and turnovers to a minimum, as Indiana is opportunistic, as we talked about, on both sides of the ball. So, Indiana wins if they force Ohio State into making mistakes early by disguising their coverage and staying disciplined on defense. Going to be a tough task because Ohio State can beat you in so many different ways on offense, as we saw. They can do read option, which is their bread and butter. They can run to the left or the right. They can do sweeps. They can do quarterback off tackles. They can do running back off tackles. They can do quarterback draws. They can do excellent play action passes. Ohio State is a very, very tough opponent for any defense, especially under Ryan Day and under Urban Meyer. And you can see a lot of Urban Meyer in my mind when you look at how Ryan Day coaches. Again, and also, Indiana wins if taking advantage of Ohio State's up-tempo offense by forcing quick 3-and-outs. That's what Ohio State did against Oregon years ago in the national championship, and it worked for them. Indiana's going to have to take a lot of that same mentality and bring it into this game to shut down that high-octane offense and make Ohio State make 3 quick bad plays and punt the ball. It'll help Indiana's defense too. Sometimes a good defense is slow scoring, producing drives on offense. Indiana needs to keep that in mind. Keep that high-octane offense off the field. Force Ohio State in consistent 3rd and longs. Make Ohio State be in those consistent 3rd and 10s, 3rd and 11s, 3rd and 12s, 3rd and 15s, even 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 9s. You want to keep them from getting all those big chunk yards on 1st and 2nd down, which is what Ohio State is very good at. And take advantage of penalties and errors that Ohio State will make and commit. As we looked at in the Penn State game, Ohio State committed 9 penalties. I don't see them not committing some penalties in this game. Indiana needs to take advantage of those. Okay, who to pick? This is a tough game. It's going to be a good one. I do believe Indiana's going to play Ohio State tough all 4 quarters, like they did against Penn State, like they did against Michigan and Michigan State. And Rutgers too. But this is a tough one to pick. Indiana hasn't had to beat a team that didn't help beat themselves, except I'm not sure about Rutgers. I didn't look at that game. But Indiana needs to be able to beat Ohio State. Straight up, Ohio State won't make the errors that Michigan made, that Michigan State made, that Penn State made. Ohio State has an offense, unlike Michigan State, who got shut out. It's going to be a tough game for the Hoosiers. I like the Hoosiers. I do. I'm very proud of what they've done so far this year. There is a but, ladies and gentlemen. There is a but. I do have Ohio State winning this game, and I'm sorry I cut off my talking head, or my talking head cut off the helmet. But I do see Ohio State winning this game 38-28. They're at home. They're favored. Not that I look at who's favored much, but the reason why Ohio State's favored. Ohio State's favored because they've been doing it for the last 30 years. But that's also not a reason why I picked them. I picked them because I believe Ohio State can beat Indiana straight up. Just like they did against Penn State. Just like I believe they'll do later on in the year against other tougher opponents. I think Ohio State is a very complete, balanced team on offense and defense. And I do believe Ohio State can beat Indiana straight up without Indiana having to make any mistakes. I don't believe Indiana can beat Ohio State without Ohio State being themselves a little bit. That's the biggest takeaway I have from this. So, thanks for watching. Please like my video if you did indeed like it. Just like Mr. Bean says there. Please share it if you do enjoy what I do here and want your friends to see it as well. You think somebody would like seeing my content. Please subscribe. Hit the little notification bell to let you know when I make new videos. And subscribing also helps my channel grow. Gets it out to more people. I want that. I love that. I love what I do here. I do. I hope you all do. And I hope you all can help me make this channel grow because I can't do it by myself. I try. That's enough of my shameless marketing. Thank you again for watching. And have a nice football Saturday whenever you watch this. And be safe out there.